Ladies and gentlemen, in about 30 seconds, we're going to get started with today's topic. Very important. It's going to be around Narcan. So we're going to have experts in the field tell us about why we need it, how you use it, and we're going to show you exactly how it's administered. And for all DPS employees, it's a mandatory training. So stay tuned. I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, our furniture sponsor, which is VES America. You'll notice that this furniture looks a lot like the furniture from our classrooms, and that's because it is. And so we just wanted to thank them for their sponsorship. Let's listen in. Hello and welcome to the EDUCA DPS podcast. My name is Javier Ibarra, and today we have a very important topic. We're going to talk about the importance of learning how to save lives. That's right, save lives with Narcan training at all DPS schools. And today our special guest is Marie Quinn, who is the Dean of Health and Sciences / Director of Nursing Education Programs at Denver Public Schools. Marie, welcome to the EDUCA DPS podcast. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Can you give us a brief synopsis about what we're going to be talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about Narcan training. We're going to talk about what DPS is doing to address the fentanyl overdose or issue that we're having in our community.
Is that still pretty serious? I don't know if I've heard anything about it in the news. Is that like a epidemic right now?
It is an epidemic right now, and it's always in the news. There's a lot going on with fentanyl, and I think it's important for our employees to know how to act and respond if there is an emergency.
Well, that's great to know. So I want to ask right off the bat, first question, what is Narcan?
Narcan is currently an over-the-counter medication that can be administered to help support anyone that's dealing with an opioid overdose.
And so if that's the case, why are we carrying it here at DPS? Why is it important for us to have them in our schools?
I think that's a great question. In our communities, fentanyl can be found in a lot of different places. And because our schools are in the community, I think it's important for us to be prepared in the event that our students and or our staff are coming in contact with that substance.
And so what are we doing as a district regarding this important subject, right? What are we doing to get ahead of this?
So what we've done in the past is that our nursing services team has been well equipped to administer Narcan. In the 25-26 school year, what we're doing is training all DPS staff to be able to respond in an emergency.
That's huge. So it doesn't matter who you are or what you do for the district, you will be trained in Narcan.
Absolutely.
Or how to use Narcan.
That's correct. It is now a part of the mandatory trainings for the 25-26 school year. So this information will be available on the learning management system, so all of our staff will be able to access it there and be able to complete the training.
And so then it's safe to say that this has really, I don't want to say scared, but it's prompted a response here at DPS, and this is our response.
Absolutely.
And so what would you say if I'm witnessing an overdose, right? And I would assume, I've never witnessed one in my life, so this is new for me. But if I'm witnessing, can you give me some of the characteristics of what it would look like? Just so like, you know what an overdose looks like. And then what am I supposed to do?
Absolutely. So I think it's important to stay with someone if you find that they're not conscious. You may find someone who's lying somewhere or just is not responding to you. And I think it's important for you to call their name if you know them, or just shake them and ask them if they can hear you. You want to tell them very loudly that you're gonna administer Narcan. Get help. Stay with that person. And I think the nurses, our campus resource officers, and some additional people in our buildings, our principals, assistant principals have been trained, has had further training. But the goal is to get a dose of Narcan, be sure that we're administering it as soon as possible, and that there's a second dose that's available, because it's a temporary, it will reverse temporarily, and so it's possible that you may need 2 doses. You want to wait 2 to 3 minutes between the first and the second dose, and it's very important not to use the Narcan to spray in the air to see if it works. You have to really follow the training that is being administered here and make sure that you're in the nostril and you're pressing the medication.
Can you kind of demonstrate for us? And then for the audience that's listening, can you describe what you're doing?
Absolutely. So here is a packaged Narcan, and I think I'm going to open it.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you would take it out, and this is going to go, we're going to go through this in the training as well.
Sure.
But you would just press this little button here.
Okay, very simple.
Very simple, and you're going to get right in the nostril and just fully extend this little thing here.
Right. For the skeptics, like, people want to know, like, oh, is there anything in here? But you're recommending that we shouldn't test it because there's only so much medicine in one little container.
Yeah. If you were to press this and express it into the air, you're using the Narcan, and it's gone. Okay, and we want to make sure that this is used to save a life, so we don't want to press it and dispense this into the air. It's going to go straight into the nostril.
What is the likelihood, like, if someone is experiencing an overdose, what is the likelihood of them to survive if they're administered Narcan?
The likelihood is very good. So this temporarily reverses the effects of the opioid, right? So it's possible that you may need a second dose, and it's very important that you call 911 because that person may need additional medical help. So
always call 911.
Always. If you're going to administer Narcan, you must call 911 or have someone that's in close proximity call.
Okay, and so let's talk about a little more of the Narcan itself, right? Where can it be stored, or where should it be stored, right? I assume because it's medicine, like, we need to know more about this. Where should we store this?
Historically, it's been stored in the health office in every school. Now we're going to deploy Narcan outside of the health office. It will remain in the health office. It's going to be in the front office. We're going to have it on our DPS buses for our students as well. Campus resource officers are also carrying it. Our athletic teams are carrying it. And in our administrative buildings, we're putting it in the first aid kit.
And so I just want to remind our audience, right? It's not like there's a crazy, like, at any given moment there's going to be some sort of need for Narcan, right? But it's better to be in that preventative stage. It's better to have it readily available, and it could happen anywhere, right? And so that's why we have it on our school buses, our campus resource officers, nurses, I assume other places.
Yeah, we are trying to be proactive in this epidemic that's happening in our country, and I think it's important that we have it on hand if needed.
Understood. So we talked a little bit about this, right? Where's the training? Who is training for? Can you tell us a little more on that?
Absolutely. So the training is for all DPS employees. It will be available in the learning management system. That information is right now available for people to log on and do all of their mandatory trainings. The Narcan training is listed there right now. So after, viewing this podcast, you can log on and complete your training.
And we recommend you view this podcast because we're having the Narcan on set right now. My next question for you, and this is very important. In the event that Narcan is used, I believe there are some rules that happen after the use of Narcan, right? You just don't simply use it and then toss it. What happens after?
So I'll talk a little bit about the person. So if someone has been administered Narcan, you want to make sure that they're turned on their side. That's also going to be given to you in that the video. Mm-hmm. The important thing is to call 911 again. We want to keep remembering that has to be done. You stay with the person. Do not leave them. You're going to wait until the EMS team is there on site.
Mm-hmm. And then after that, you have to report it?
Thank you. Absolutely. You do have to report it. So the nurses and nursing services have been doing this for years, and now this is going to be something that's expected of our DPS staff. If you administer Narcan, it's important that you fill out what we're calling a 911 form. That 911 form will be available for everyone to be able to have access to it, but your building leaders and or the nurse and your school will have more information about this form. The person that is administering Narcan or anyone who's witnessing the events of that can fill out this form. The importance of filling out the form is two things. Nursing services will know about it, risk management will be involved, and they will know about it, and we can replenish the Narcan.
Marie, what if folks wanted to find out more information about this? Is there some website, somewhere they can go to find out more information?
They can go to dpsprevention.org.
This topic fascinates me because it's important for us to be preventative, right? And we do this with a lot of things here at DPS, right? Whether it's mental health services or other types of services, the whole child, we call it here at DPS. Before I let you go, is there anything else that people should know about the topic, about Narcan, maybe a final message?
Yeah, I think the importance is to be sure that we're doing the training. We have until October 31st to complete it. It's mandatory now. You can access it now. Be sure to call 911 and complete the 911 form if you do administer it. And remember, do not use the medication in the air. Make sure it's going into the nostril.
Is it safe to say that by taking this training and being an expert in what the training has for us, you could literally be saving a life?
Absolutely true.
Marie, I want to thank you for your time today, and thank you for coming to the EDUCA DPS studios and talking about such an important subject.
Thank you for having me.
Well, friends and families, this concludes our EDUCA DPS podcast for today. I want to give a big thank you to Marie Quinn for such an important conversation. And if you found this important or you'd like to help us promote this, the best way is to share this. I want to give a huge thank you to our communications department and our co-producer for this episode, Mindy Onwebu. And of course, a big thank you to our superintendent, Dr. Alex Marrero, for his constant support to all of our EDUCA and multimedia productions. Again, please share this content with your friends, with your family, with a neighbor. And you can find all of our major podcast platforms under the DPS Podcast Network, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Denver Public Schools Plus. My name is Javier Ibarra. Until next time.